Okay, hello everybody. These are your notes for how to write a good lab report. Okay, so this is just kind of like a template or a pattern to use. These are things that we should see in a good lab report, a good what we would call a one-page report. So in a lab report, we want to always have our title on the top of the page. In other words, the title of the experiment or the activity that we're working on. And a brief description. Okay, the title is a brief description of what we're covering. The purpose. What are we trying to answer? What is the problem we're dealing with? What do we need to learn? The purpose should be a complete sentence. Next is a list of the equipment that we use in that activity. Okay, list the equipment. Or, if it's appropriate, draw a picture of the equipment, the apparatus that we're using in that experiment. Procedure. The procedure is next, and that should be a numbered list of the things that you do. It's a description, a detailed description of what we did in that lab or what we're going to do in that lab, that activity. Only the main parts of the activity. We're not going to list everything because some of the activities, labs we do can become very, very long, and you'd spend a lot of time describing it. Results from the lab. Observations that you make. Typically the results include a data table. As you can see here, on this data table, we've got our title, we've got headings, columns with the numbers that pertain to each one of the headings. At temperature 1 degree Celsius, oxygen concentration in ppm, it's parts per million, oxygen concentration in fresh water and seawater. So the different numbers there. Those are your results. Calculations would be if you have to do some math, you want to show your work and include your units that you have for whatever math you might be doing. Questions, there are always questions at the end of toward the end of a lab report. You want to answer your questions in complete sentences, and also if there is a math problem, you also want to make sure that you show your work in your math problem. You have a conclusion statement, which is also part of this lesson, and how to write a good conclusion statement. That would be on there. We always have a section to ask further questions. You want to know something further from this experiment that you didn't find out. You write down a further question associated with that activity, and then are there any hazards? Okay, are there any things that are dangerous in this lab activity? Were there anything? Did we work with fire? Okay, did something get hot? Okay, you have to use common sense. Did we work with chemicals? You have to look up the possible hazards that are with those chemicals. This is an example of a good lab report. Okay, title, purpose, what equipment did you use, what's the procedure, a numbered list, what are your results in the form of a data table or graph, did you have calculations for any math, answer your questions in a complete sentence, write a good conclusion statement. Do you have further questions? Write them down, and hazards. Okay, hope that works out for you. Good luck on it, and ask questions. If you're not sure about something, make sure you ask questions.